get started right now. Welcome to the podcast is real. I am your host, King Drell, creator, gaming, nerd culture, everything in between. We're just trying to survive out here. Let you guys know that nerds can do it too. But that's okay. Like I said, it ain't about me, but I am rolling solo because this is pre-recorded. As you can see, we're not live, but it's okay because I got a special one here today. As you can see, my guest is somebody I've known for a long time. My guest is a ultra beautiful woman, model extraordinaire, and overall down to earth nice person. Give it up for the one and only Spencer Nick.
Boop, boop, boop.
I thought you were about to do the Arsenio there for a second. Yes, I'm dating myself, guys. It's okay. I watched the Arsenio Hall show. It's fine. It's fine. But no, how are you doing today, Spencer?
I'm good. I just went on a short walk to get my energy up.
To get your energy up.
Yeah. Ugh.
Okay, well, there's nothing wrong with that, especially because we know that you're really big into fitness. Because, I mean, of course you are. I mean, look at you. Just take a quick look at you for a second. That is just... No, but you know what? There's a thing that a lot of people probably don't know. Like I said, you've been a model for a long time, but what a lot of people may not necessarily know is that obviously we've been friends for a very long time. And she was a model for years. She took a break. And then when she came back, I would say around 2018, I sent out just a random tweet, guys, back when Twitter was still Twitter, RIP Twitter. And I was just talking about how I had this dream, and I tagged all of the models I was fans of in it because they were in the dream, and she was one of them. I wasn't even following her at the time, but I tagged her in it along with the others, and it wasn't even like a hot and bothered 18 plus dream. It was just a cool, weird dream that happened to have these pretty girls in it. And not even 24 hours later, I got a notification that Spencer Nix was following me on Twitter. And from that point on, I started really paying attention again because I was a fan of her way back when. Then all of a sudden, we got into the Snapchat days. Shout out Snapchat. And we have been talking ever since.
Yeah. Yep.
I have been able to see her growth. She's been able to see my growth.
About to say, I've seen your growth. So proud of you, especially over the past, 2 years?
I definitely appreciate it. And I was actually there for some of your growth because a lot of people don't know who used to run your fan page when you were really getting your Instagram up and going.
When? Like the very, very, very beginning?
No, when you came back in like 2018, 2019.
Oh, yeah, it was the same people, though. Yeah. From before, and then they were just doing it when I came back. Yeah.
Right.
A lot of people don't even know. Well, I guess maybe if you're on your side of the things, but I guess nowadays they don't know about fan pages before OnlyFans. Like, yep, has always been something similar to it.
Right. And a lot of the big people, they would have a fan page, it's just the page is like, this is dedicated to loving this person without getting to talk to that person directly, which a lot of times the celebrities, they don't have time to really talk to people anyway. Not because they're mean, just because they're busy. you know
Yeah.
so you also have this over here that plus with me it was different because not only did I want to run your fan page just to help put awareness on you, but I also wanted in absolutely any way I could to help you grow and get your name out there and just let the world know who Spencer Nix was. Like I had a mission with that
Oh,
fan page.
okay, the Instagram fan page. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had a huge mission with that, but no, like I said, it's I've loved that we've been able to see each other's growth and everything. And guess what, guys? I say it all the time: the work's not done. I have
Never.
I have so many more goals. Look, until I'm able to almost retire, the work's not done.
Mm-hmm.
I have so many goals I want to set this year, including with this podcast. We're in season 3 right now, guys. And anyone that's been following us on this journey knows that season 1, we were just going live on TikTok. It was like really, really small time, just TikTok live. We're just gonna put our phone up and just talk. Me and my nephew and I, and we were just like, you know what? Do you want to just go live and just do our podcast? Because we were talking about it for years, but we kept procrastinating on actually putting a plan together and all of that stuff. And then just randomly one day we were playing a game, and I was just like, "You want to go live this Thursday?" And he was just like, "Okay." We had
Yeah,
no expensive equipment.
yeah, you don't need it. I mean, to start out with.
And that's a lot of people's problem, because there's a lot of people that feel like, and I hear it because I hear it from my fellow content creators. They're like, I don't want to start until I got the good camera or I got the good
Mhm.
equipment. It's like, just start.
Just start. Yeah, just put it out there. Just put it in motion first. Just start.
I mean, will some people criticize you for the poor quality and stuff? I mean, yeah, but it's the internet. You can't please
You,
everybody
you,
no matter
you
what.
got you have to learn real quick not to listen to other people. Real quick.
Anyone that follows my journey knows how many racist comments I get on my stuff on a daily basis, literally thousands. And
That's sad.
you just can't let it get to you. In fact, I just troll them. They think they're trolling me, but at the end of the day, I'm like, who's really trolling who here?
Mm,
Because they will just say things that they think are bothering me, and I'll just come back with them. I'm like, at the end of the day, you guys are boosting my content. Thank you for your engagement. Thank you for your boost. Because of you guys, the algorithm's gonna keep pushing my stuff to the people who actually want to see it. So, thank you, haters.
mhm.
And they don't understand that, because they'll still come to me and they're like, why are you responding to all these people? Or they'll go, wow, we got him shook, guys, because he wants to respond to everybody. I'm like, they just have no idea what I'm doing.
Mm-mm, couldn't be me. I'm a block queen. I block people. Like I don't care if it's helping my algorithm or not. I just am different. I just block right away. Even if it's not anything like super bad, but it's just not it's like towards being negative, I'm gonna just block you because why? Why? I don't want to have to worry about that on my page.
Right.
People.
And that's understandable too, because mental health is good for everybody. You ought to
Mhm.
make sure you protect your mental. And there was a time where I couldn't handle the bad
Yeah.
comments or anything
Mhm.
like that. But once I got to a point where I'm like, you know what? This doesn't really bother me, and I can take advantage, because first of all, they're just haters that are gonna say things they'll never say to your face.
Exactly.
So
Well,
when I
nowadays
learned,
they might risk it.
yeah, and so I learned to take it in stride, number one. But then number two, another thing I came to learn by doing that was, I would tell them, because they would be like, it's almost like a badge of honor, because they want to get to you so bad. They want you to block them. And like you said, you're a block queen, and that's great. I'm the other way around. I tell them, you know what, you don't like my stuff. Well, guess what? You just engage with my content. So now the algorithm's going to show you even more of my content. So, hey, good luck with that. And by the way, if you don't want to see it, you can block me if you want, but I'm not going to block you. You're going to see me win.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't care about none of that. Like be gone. Like I'm not dealing with the be gone. Like I don't care.
And like I said, everyone's different, but I
Mhm.
definitely understand the mental, especially, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it, for women out there, because if you women get it so bad, some of the comments I see that they get, you know, so do minorities as well. But I've been in comments. Sometimes you can just be existing, and it's just so bad. And
Mhm. That's the way it is, unfortunately.
that's the way it is, unfortunately. But you know what? They can continue to hate, and they can continue to see us like when this podcast come out, because again, we got the lovely Spencer Nix here, who is a model extraordinaire. And one of the things, in case you have no idea who Spencer Nix is, we're going to give you a little preview of her right now, because we do what we have on here. It's usually a cosplay showcase, but we also do model showcases on here as well, aka she's got that shit on. So we are going to go ahead and get started. And since we're not live, she's not going to be able to see what I'm doing right now. So if you want to give me 1 second, power of editing, I'm going to send picture number one to you so you can see what I have on the screen right now. Which is also one of my top 5 all-time favorite pictures of you.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
Mozart did that one as well. All your favorite pictures are by Mozart.
Well, isn't that shout out to Mozart?
Yeah, shout out. He's my top fave photographer.
Okay, absolutely. Well, tell me about the outfit because I love that outfit. I think that's a big part of it as well.
Okay. That I think is a Fashion Nova outfit. Maybe, or it could be a Dolls Kill outfit. You know Dolls Kill?
I do know Dolls Kill, and I
It's
definitely know Fashion Nova because you shout them out so much. You're an ambassador, right?
yeah, Yep, I'm an ambassador of Fashion Nova. But I want to say that's Dolls Kill because those are Dolls Kill shoes too.
You are wearing those shoes, by the way.
Yeah.
Like nothing like a woman that can wear heels. Like definitely.
Yeah, I like that outfit. I got my hair done, my makeup done, all that day. I was feeling myself.
You were filming yourself, so
I was
hey,
feeling myself.
you're definitely feeling yourself. And
Yeah.
you should feel yourself. Look at you. Like I said, the camera loves you, which is why you're a model. So of course you already know that. But no, like I was saying, and y'all guys don't know this because this was backstage. This is one of my top 5 favorite photos of her. Just that shoot in general, but especially this picture.
Yeah, that shit was fire. Most of them like got removed from Instagram, so it is what it
Yeah. Boo Instagram. I can say that on here because it's going to be on YouTube.
is. Boo.
If I happen to put this over there, I will edit that part out because we're not going to slander Instagram on Instagram. We're not that dumb. The next one that I have on here probably shouldn't surprise you because I believe I actually even commented when you posted it,
Okay.
and I just sent that to the
Uh,
Discord.
yeah, that's a new one. That's a Valentine's Day photo. Yep.
Definitely like everything from the makeup, the dress, the flowers, the necklace, the heels, the leg. Like, oh my
The
goodness. I could,
leg. I know.
yes.
That was fire. I was surprised how well they came out. But the sun, when you get the right sun exposure, it is just makes you just bomb. But that's a Fashion Nova dress, surprisingly. And yeah, I did my own makeup and hair actually. I don't know where those shoes are from. I'm not gonna lie, no idea.
That's fine. So, yeah, you said that does have great lighting. So was this like in the evening time?
Mm-hmm. Yep, it was at dusk. Is that right or sunset?
Yes. The best time to take photos if you're using the sun is at sunrise or sunset.
The booty is bootying too. It's really it has really grown over the past year.
You heard her, guys. She said the booty is bootying.
Yeah, because that's just a side booty and it's it's really poking.
And it's fine for her to say that because if you're a fan of her content, you know that her booty likes to take center stage quite a bit.
It's my default.
It
They're
is
like,
her.
take a picture, and I'm like,
Look, everybody has their signature, so there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, guys. So I didn't even think about that. But you know what? Even though I did say that this is not a cosplay showcase because you're not a cosplayer, that does not mean you have never put cosplay on before.
oh,
So the next one up on the screen.
Spider Gwen. I did not love my makeup that day. I will say I did not love my makeup. I was this
Really?
close to taking it off, yeah, before I came out. It was too much. But the outfit was fire because it was comfortable. And I feel like I kind of looked like Spider Gwen, so
Yes, that part as well, which, I'm sure was a big inspiration for why you probably put it on. But not only is this one mean a lot to me just for the fact that number one, it is a cosplay and I am a cosplayer, so I'm always going to appreciate this, but the fact that I got to see you that day.
yeah, we met up here in Atlanta and walked around a fuck ton, and it was cool. You got to
It-
meet some other people. Slander, Malloy. I don't know if you met Malloy that before that day or not, though.
No, that was the first time.
Yeah. So yeah.
No, it was great. It wasn't my first time meeting you, but the other time was really just a meetup to give you a birthday gift.
Yeah.
And we just talked for a little bit. But that one was an actual hangout. And that actually meant a lot because we had known each other a long time. And I'm like, we've never hung out. And plus, I think that was like the second year in a row. I was trying to see if I could meet up with you at a Dragon Con
Yeah.
because
Hmm.
I know because I usually go to Dragon Con every year. I didn't go last year.
I was about to say, yeah, I know you didn't go to the last one.
Did you go?
No, no. I'm sorry. It's just like not my thing. Like, like I'm obsessed with like Harry Potter, and even then, if it was like a Harry Potter con, I probably wouldn't go. It's just not my thing. I don't know. If it was food based, it's like
You hear
if it
that,
was
guys?
like, if it was like Harry Potter food based or like Spider Gwen noodles or something, then I would be more inclined to go.
You heard that, guys? Bring more food. If you cook it, she will come.
Yeah, pretty much.
The fourth one isn't really like a model pick, but it is cute to me again because it's cosplay based. And
Oh, yeah, I was roughing it that day, so I didn't even do my hair, have no makeup on, but I just had to throw something together because I was going trick or treating. So I that dress skirt thing did not go past my butt cheeks, so I just wore whatever I could find. And those socks actually go to a Mario, like the Mario costume.
well, look, don't underestimate the power of what you can do with just grabbing things and putting it together. Because, look, first of all, Luigi's number one. Forget Mario.
Don't
So
forget Mario. I just don't. I love Mario. Mario's a stand-up guy, and he is awesome. But I don't know. It's something about the quiet underdog that has the ability to do just what Mario's doing. He just doesn't believe in himself. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just they need
Mar-
more love. And
Mario is a guy that got so big in his own head that he now puts his name on everything: Mario Golf, Mario Tennis, Mario Kart.
people do that for Mario.
Meanwhile, Luigi is the one that had to go save Mario the two times he went missing and got kidnapped. Shout out to Luigi out here.
It's a team effort. It's a team effort with them too. But yes, shout out to Luigi. I am a Luigi fan ever since Luigi's Mansion came out. I just love Luigi. I don't know.
Risk his life to save Mario's girlfriend. Like, come on now. That's a good brother right there.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but shout. So you were going trick or treating this day. That was what the outfit was for. Because I figured as much, but I didn't know for sure.
Yep, I went trick or treating to wherever is the best um subdivision around because they give out, whole candy bars. So I go there for sure.
Y'all get whole candy bars?
Whole candy bars. Like this they set up crazy. There's people in golf carts riding around giving out like drinks. They have stands up for like creepy like snacks with like brains coming out of them. And this one house you go in and it's like a collector of I can't remember. It was a collector of like train stations. And at the end when you walk out it's just a huge thing of like king size candy bars.
See, I'm hating from outside the club right now because there's nothing like that here. I know we have a dedicated street, which is actually one street over, which is like the main street in my city that everyone always goes trick or treating on. There's like so many fancy houses on that street,
Mhm.
which
Mhm.
goes to show you like the biggest divide in how weird my city works. Because on that street is like all these rich houses, and then literally one street over that you can walk to in like 5 minutes is the ghetto.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, we have that here too, but it's just you drive by and it's like they just built houses like right next to houses that are falling apart. It's like I guess it's just how it works.
And yeah, I grew up a lot on this street. They are slowly tearing them down and
Mm-hmm.
rebuilding them into houses that we won't be able to afford. So we'll see what this place looks like in another decade.
Right, exactly. But yeah, I do my research every year before we go trick or treating to know the best places with the best decorations and like it's just like fun, to go.
A couple of years ago was the first time I went trick or treating in years, and that was because I went with my brother and his son because they came down here and they were like, come trick or treating with us. I was just like, okay, I hadn't been in forever because before a couple of years ago, the last time I went trick or treating was when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
The last year that I decided, okay, I might be getting a little too old for this.
No, never.
Well, we went, and I went as one of my favorite wrestlers because I'm a huge wrestling fan. And I went with my cousin and one of my best friends. And like I said, we're like 15, between the ages of like 15 and 18. And we went trick or treating. And yes, we would go to houses and people would just be looking at us kind of with that, aren't you a little too old to be doing this look?
I
And
don't think people do that as much nowadays, I hope. Maybe back then, I'm sure, yeah.
well, the whole thing is trick or treating is for the kids. And it's one thing that if you're an adult and you have kids with you, but if you're overgrown and you don't have kids with
Why ruin
you,
someone else's fun? Like, what are they doing? They're trying to get some candy? Stop being a greedy little shit. Like,
and it was creepy though because then we went down this other street, which was off of the main street that I was just talking about. And there were
mm,
a couple of lights on, but we didn't really see like any kids on it. But we were like, we've already gone down this street. Let's go down this street to see if any of the ones with lights on, have candy. And we
mm.
went on the porch and we knocked on this door and nobody was answering. And as we were doing that, a car pulled into the driveway with their bright lights on. And they were just staring at us. And we're like, oh crap. Because I know there's no one else on this street. Are they going to think we're trying to break into their house? Because we got masks on. The wrestler that I'm wearing wears face paint and I have a baseball bat. And it's
Shit.
just,
And you're black. Like, damn, can it get any worse?
and we got the heck up out of there.
Yeah.
And what was so scary about it was when we got out of there and we went back to the main street that we just left that was full of people, we went back there and there was like almost nobody on the street anymore. We were like, where did all these people go that fast?
Weird.
It was almost something out of like the freaking Twilight Zone.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, I'm like, you know what? The only thing missing right now is a thunderstorm. It didn't thunderstorm,
Oh my god, I was about to say, did it?
but it did start lightning a little bit.
Oh wow. Maybe that's why everyone went home. Because it started later. And
Maybe. But yes, no. For you guys, yes, that was the story of the last time I went trick or treating up until recently because we got overgrown. That freaked me the heck out. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is a sign. Maybe it's
yeah,
time to stop going to trick or treating, at least until I have kids of my own.
that was a little weird. Yeah.
Stuff that you can't make up. So, another one of the great things that I want to have on here for you is because, again, you are my friend, but again, you'll be surprised how many of my friends actually follow you now over the
Oh
past
yeah.
couple of years.
I'll have to follow them back.
So because I feel like it's easy for our worlds to mesh because what people need to realize is cosplaying is modeling as well because it really is. You take pictures, we do photo shoots.
Mhm.
I consider myself a model and a cosplayer and a content creator, but that doesn't mean everybody in my world necessarily knows who you are. So this is the part where I always give everybody the floor. So for anybody that doesn't know who Spencer Nix is, this is a great opportunity for you to let everybody know just who Spencer Nix is.
Well, dang, you could have gave me something to prepare that question. I feel like one, I need to be able to prepare for that question. And two, it's like there's so many different things. Like,
You are definitely multi a lot of
yeah,
stuff.
It's like I could pick one thing and just talk about it so much. So I don't
Okay, well, let's pick one thing. What was it like on the set of Hannah Montana?
know. Okay. Okay. I had so I used to work at this gym. I think I might have told you this story. I used to work at this gym and I worked in the child area and I worked at the front of it. So this girl came up to me and she was like, "You look just like Hannah Montana. Are you her sister? Are you Hannah Montana?" And I'm like, I couldn't tell her no. She was just so hopeful. I was like, "Yeah, I'm her sister." She was like, "Will you please tell her I said hello and I love her music?" People have told me since forever that I look like Miley Cyrus or Hannah Montana. And I don't really see it, but when I look at her, I'm like, I guess I can see some things, but when I look at myself, I don't think that I don't like, oh, you look like Miley Cyrus.
I mean, it's one thing for people to come up to you, and I mean, I can kind of see it, and
Yeah.
they want to know if you are or related to Miley Cyrus. And I bet it probably doesn't help once you start talking and that accent comes out.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing right there. The accent.
It's like, "Oh, if you're not related to her, then why do you have that Southern accent as well?" It's like,
If you're not related to her, then why do you sound like that? Pretty much. Yeah.
I mean, she's from Tennessee. You're from Kentucky.
Yeah. I mean, we might be related somewhere down the line, but
You might need to look into your bloodline.
mm,
But you're definitely related to Miley Cyrus at some point.
no,
So
I'm
you should.
not. There can be two people that look similar, but are not related.
Hey, look, just own it. Disney might give you a contract.
Hmm. I don't think I'm Disney appropriate.
Have you seen some of the Disney people that have come from there?
Well, after the fact that they're not Disney anymore, yeah.
I was about to say it's like some of these Disney kids have gone on to live pretty interesting lives, and I would still say that you're more wholesome than some of them.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Okay, well, we will stay off of Hannah Montana then. So one of the things that I know you are, let's talk about your fitness then.
Okay, fitness and health.
Fitness and health.
I'm obsessed with it. I guess I don't know. It's just so interesting to me. It's just I find myself just reading about it. I always have been like that. Just super interested in the way your body works, what you can do to manipulate it, the way you eat, how it affects your body functions, and what your organs do to help you out. It's just so interesting. And I annoy all the doctors I go to because I ask so many questions.
Oh my goodness. They're probably like, you need to go take some classes.
Yeah, they're like, I mean, the last doctor I visited at for I was just doing blood work, whatever. And I'm like, what school did you go to? How do I get a degree like that? Like, what are my options here? Because it's just I've done a lot I can do just online, and really to get any further, I'm gonna have to actually apply and go into a school. So
Well, I mean, and you already know a lot as it is because if anyone that follows you on your fitness journey, you give people tips all the time, whether it's
that's
eating tips or even just mental tips, because you got to be better physically and mentally out here. And that's one of the things I really love about you.
they go hand in hand. I really do. It's just a huge passion, and I know it can be annoying to some people, especially because there's so much content out there with what to do and what not to do. You kind of just really need to take yourself down to the basics and follow people who go off of real studies and who have actually been to school and have evidence to back up their claims, because anyone can really say anything. So,
YouTube.
right. So you just find those people that are accredited, and those are the people that you can follow and take their word. Um, over someone else's word that you don't really know their background. But also, another thing is, even if you do follow someone who is accredited and knows what they're talking about and what they're saying is true, that doesn't always mean that it's true for you because everybody is different. So I could eat, spinach every day and be fine, but sometimes your genes and genetics and ancestry and all that, your body can't handle spinach every day. So keep that in mind too.
My body can't handle spinach any day. I immediately regurgitate it anytime I
Really?
try to eat it. Yes.
Yeah, so you have to listen to that. So even though it's healthy for you, if your body is rejecting it, there's a reason. There's a reason for that. Your body is so smart. We don't give it enough credit.
But I was such a fan of Popeye the Sailor, though.
Sorry.
You
But there's
know,
oh my god, do you like broccoli sprouts? Have you ever
no.
have you ever had them?
Yes.
They taste like nothing.
That's why I also think it might be a mental thing, or not a mental thing, a texture thing, maybe, because there's
Mm,
almost no vegetables that I can eat. Any of them that I've ever tried to eat, my body just starts just gagging and regurgitating, and it's just like, no, why are you trying to eat this? So some of it I force, and then I also take supplements to try to replace a lot of the things. Like,
yeah.
and the reason I say texture is because I can take it all in smoothies, and I love smoothies,
Mm.
but as far as like eating them as is,
Like vegetable smoothies.
yeah.
Mm. Yeah, that could also be if it is a mental thing. It could be maybe just stem from your upbringing, and if it wasn't if your palate didn't require vegetables and things like that as from when you started eating solid foods to childhood and then to you know puberty, it's going to be really hard to implement it as an adult. So your body can repulse it because it is mental and it's like you're not used to it. So you gotta figure out which one that is though.
I was definitely one of those stereotypical kids you see on those kid shows when I was little. I don't want to eat vegetables. You put it on my plate, and I'm like, what is that green stuff? This doesn't even look like something I want to eat. Get this away from me. I'm not eating this. And so even from a young age, if it looked something on my plate looked like something I didn't want to eat, I didn't eat it. And my parents would try to tell me, no, you're gonna eat it. And I'm like,
Mm,
no, I'm not gonna eat it. And they would try to pull the, okay, well, you're gonna sit at this table until you eat it. And I would sit there for hours.
dang, you were difficult.
So after a
And
while, they just stopped serving them to me because they just know I'm not gonna eat them. So yes, I grew up not eating vegetables.
yeah, hmm, that's a
So
hard one.
so now that I got to an age where I'm like, you know what? Maybe I need to put some vegetables in my diet. It's just my body
Yeah,
says nah.
because the thing that vegetables and some fruits have in them is just really important. Like I cannot think of the word. I want to say chlorophyll maybe is what gives a lot of vegetables their color, and some are highly concentrated in it. And it is so good for our body. It kills cancer cells, regenerates our mitochondria, so we're less likely to get cancer. Um, can you live without vegetables? I don't know how. You would definitely have to take supplements, which is a good thing that you do.
Yes, because luckily, one of the things with all of my yearly checkups is no cancers, no any of that stuff, and I get all of that stuff checked out. And I've been so lucky.
So maybe there's a reason. Maybe your child body knew for some reason that you really shouldn't be eating vegetables. I don't know what that reason could be. I don't know what a reason could be where your body shouldn't be eating some vegetables, but if it's worked out so far,
And I hadn't always done the best job of taking care of myself, but here in the most recent years, I've been doing a better job because I stopped going to annual checkouts for years.
mm,
And I started back doing it. I got some people around me that have really been pushing me, which is good, but I also got to make sure I continue to push myself as well.
yeah,
I got some good influences around me. Plus, then there's the fact that my dad had every cancer under the sun. Like, you
mm-hmm,
name the cancer, he probably had it at some point.
mm-hmm,
And he beat it. He would beat it every time,
Wow.
but it still didn't take away from the fact that that's a lot for your body to constantly go through this
True.
cancer, this biopsy, these surgeries, that surgeries,
Mm-hmm.
getting this removed, this chemo, that chemo. He went through it all, and you only knew it if you knew him, because if you seen him out and about and having fun, one of the nicest, biggest smile, jokesters, all that stuff, big into music, still DJ'd all the way up until he died. People that you would ever meet, only people that knew him really knew what he was going through all those years.
Yeah.
And that is something that I always stay with me because, I know he's always watching me, and I always said when he was gone that I'm gonna make him proud, and I'm definitely gonna do
Yeah.
that. So I
Then
take
you are. You are. I know you still have a lot more to do, but so far, yeah, you've definitely made him proud.
Yeah, my only, regret, and I try not to have regrets, but my only regret is I didn't really embark on the journey fully that I am now until after he was already gone, because he was my biggest supporter.
That's okay. He's there. He's still there in spirit to support you now, and sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes it takes, it happens that way for a reason. But he's still around to support you now, and he's probably even helping you without you even knowing it.
Oh no, I always say he's always with me. In fact, anytime before I go out of town, I always stop by his grave. I visit him before I go on any trip,
That's so nice.
because I always ask him to watch over me and everything. And it's also nice that you said that because, like I said, you know exactly what to say to people. Again, there's lots of reasons that I love you, and it's not just a pretty face, because there's a lot of pretty faces out here in the world. But not everybody is in the fitness or life coach or all of these things. I will see when you will put up the motivational quotes, or you would have your pictures where, yes, you would have the beautiful photos, but then you just got to go to the captions, guys, because you would just say these things to try to help uplift your day, or just make sure that you guys are going to have a good day, or everything is going to be all right. And it's definitely what we need in this world, especially today, because this world's kind of crazy.
Oh, well, I'm glad because, I don't get much feedback from those types of posts. It's usually the opposite. They're like, just show us some titties. Like, shut the fuck up. And so sometimes I go back and forth. Like, right now, I'm not really doing too much motivation because it can be draining because it's like you have to put your emotion into it and put yourself in other people's shoes and think of what they would need and you like express that and kind of when you get negative feedback, sometimes you just need a break and just do what's easy when it's like, hey, look at my boobs.
Well, and that's actually a good transition, because that is something that can be a struggle, but I've always loved and respected the fact that you do stick with it, because I know you also knew that there would be some growing pains or even a transitional period, because so long being obviously a model, something for somebody to look at. And it's like, how do I go from being this pretty model for people to look at and affection and boobs and all that stuff to I want to help people? Some people can't handle that change. They're just like, no, you're the person here that I've been looking at for all these years. I don't want to hear this from you. And it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, they don't. They really don't. But where I'm at with it now is if someone comes to me, I want to help, but I'm not actively reaching out to be like, hey, I can help you if you need it. Not like that. Excuse me. It's more of like, if it happens organically, really, um, I'm here for that.
right. And there's just also the fact that you stop, just like you said. I remember the one post that you had where you're just like, I no longer care what people think about me.
Yeah.
And you just ran down everything. Yes, life coach, fitness, mom, model, all these things. All of these are me. And this is what it is.
Yeah, I was so tired. Kind of like, I hate to compare it to this, but kind of like whenever I was non nude and I went nude,
Mhm.
I was like, I'm so tired of like hand brawls. Like, I'm just so tired of it. And so it's kind of like that, but more intense. I'm just so tired of having like two different lives. And to a certain degree, I still kind of do. I don't I still like hesitate to talk about my kids and things like that just because that can be, that's a sensitive subject, right?
Right.
Like, I went so long, no one ever knew I had kids. And then I was like, oh, I got two of them. And
Which
yeah, I just don't want to. Sometimes I just, yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things.
which actually brings me to what I personally like to call May 3rd, because
Well,
May 3rd was the day that you just put out a post and would just casually, like you always do, hey, this is my day, this is what I'm doing. Here's my earrings that my daughter made for me. Oh, by the way, there's this going on too.
yeah, I forgot about that. I did. It was a soft launch. It was a soft launch. That's what it was.
That's why last like I love you just casually threw it out there, and the comments were just like, "Wait, what?"
Y'all fucking kid. Ugh. But no, most people were positive about it. I'll say
No,
that.
they were. I'm just saying, just the shock of not knowing was the wait,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
But the funny thing about that is like you said, because then later on in the day, you put up the post, and captioned it, and no one knew. Yeah, I pay attention to everything you do, but of course, you know that already.
Hmm.
But I pay attention to you so much, and this is the thing that annoys my friends because they say I have a super super good memory, and people hate that I can bring up like random Tuesdays from like random days from my childhood, and people are like, "Stop it! It annoys me," because I'll remind them of things they said, and they're like, "Why are you doing this?" I'm like, "I don't know. I pay attention to everything," and so I say, that was a big day, May 3rd, obviously for you, but for me, it was kind of like I didn't know, but I kind of felt like I knew because a
Hmm.
couple of posts that you had in the past where
Yeah.
you didn't talk about having kids, but you talked about things like, hey, I'm taking kids on a field trip, or,
You're
you
like, what the?
know,
How would you do that? Like, how do you?
unless you had some of your own,
Yeah.
So it was like,
Yeah. Yeah. So there's been like hints at it, but it's kind of like it wasn't right in your face. So
right. And as your friend and as that person, that completely will always respect you and everything I did. It's why I never came to you. It's like, hey, so do you have kids?
and I've appreciated that so much because I just there's so much of that already just I deal with from just so many people, and I signed up for it. I love meeting and talking and getting to know people, but just the constant engagement and for someone to just give me space and let me do it on my own, it's chef's kiss. It's like
But
I,
my whole thing was, I think she does, but you know what? She'll tell me when she wants me to know.
exactly.
It's like there were things I knew before other people did. So, that's like I said, like I try to give people that space. But at the same time, like I said, I am that person. I was a big fan of detective movies and detective books when I was a kid. I think that probably comes with part of my warped mind where I read things and things will be around me and I'm always like thinking, And I just love solving mysteries. I play puzzle games on my phone all the time. I love like I was a big Tetris guy when I was little. I like playing like Tomb Raider and stuff like that. And like I said, I just seem to seems to annoy the crap out of people. But
Well, that works for me because I don't remember half the shit. I have the worst memory. My brain memory is terrible. So I love having people like that around because I'm just like, they remind me of everything.
yeah, and I can definitely vouch for that, guys, because there have been times where we've had conversations about our childhoods, and it's like trying to get information out of her about childhood is just not because she doesn't want to tell me, just because it's just like, what do I remember?
Yeah, remember nothing. And it's weird that talking about my kids is like I have like reservation towards it, but I don't mind to like talk about my childhood. I think it's because I've been able to talk about it so much, and I've been able to talk about it with my mom, not really my dad, but with my mom. I mean, some with my dad, but and it's just kind of like it's just like a story now. So I've being diagnosed with things just because I've been through so much trauma as a child. that's really why they think my memory just isn't there. Like it's like blank. It's like completely blank. I don't know really anything about my childhood because it's just not there. It's like it almost didn't happen. So whenever I need to know something, I always go to my sister or my mom. And I'm like,
And it might be repressed memories too. Like maybe one day as you get older, you just wake up one day and it's just kind of like, I remember so much.
well, I don't know if I want to do that because if it was so traumatic, my brain blocked it out, then I'm good. Like I don't really
Okay, well, you know what?
because I thought about doing like past life regressions and I actually had an appointment to do one. But is there something I'm just like, I don't think it's gonna benefit me really? Like, or maybe I'm just not ready for it. I think it's just gonna be a lot if I do that. So I'm good on that.
Yeah, unless you just start randomly, having spells or anything like that, I think you'll be fine until then. Because that means at least we don't, at least as we know of, there are no like, unrepressed, like past things that you feel like you need to deal with. Like I said, I remember everything. Are there times where there's stuff in my past that I wish I did not know?
Um,
Yeah, but I also think a lot of that stuff helps me for who I am today because if like I said, people just hear the city I live in and they just assume I'm some rich kid. I'm like, I am not rich. I have nothing. I worked hard for every little thing that I have or am
do
still getting or I'm
mm-hmm,
still trying to achieve. And they think just because a city is known as a rich town, I say, look, rich towns have projects and trailer parks and hoods and ghettos just like everywhere else.
mm-hmm. All of them do. Yep.
Yeah, they don't like you to know that stuff. But I will say this, like I said, it's okay that you don't really remember a lot from your childhood. Like I said, if something was to come up later on, you have your family there, you have your support there. But one thing I do know that you vaguely remember from your childhood because we talked about it and I want to talk about it now, and that would be something that we had to stay up very, 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 very late to watch on BET. And that would be BET
Uncut.
Uncut.
That was my shit. I watched that all the time. I would turn it on. My dad would be at work. He was a nurse at like a some type of plant where they made metal or something. I don't know.
Mhm.
And he was a nurse there, so he worked, I guess, second shift. He didn't get home till like 2 or so in the morning.
That's about
Is
time
that
it was going off.
right? So I would stay up. I would make me like a little chicken TV dinner, put hot sauce on it, and turn on BET Uncut, and I would just be in there like trying to do my dances and twerking and
Are there any off the top of your head that you remember? I know you said there was one.
just that one. I don't know why it stuck out. Like I think because I would just be really analyzing the video. Um, what is it? It's David Banner, but what is it called? Work or
Play.
play? Work or play? Yeah, I remember that. That I don't know. I don't even know if I understood what it was saying.
Well, because it was on BET Uncut, which was still television, it was the super. Even the video was a little raunchy, but the actual lyrics were definitely the clean version.
Okay.
The stuff that they said in the video did not match what they said in the dirty version because that is something I'm not even sure I can repeat on the airwaves of this podcast. It is so
Yeah,
dirty,
it was dirty. It was dirty, and
and
I just
people
remember
danced in the club.
I remember analyzing that video and just watching it and just I don't know. I don't even remember what I thought about it. What are some other songs if you could jog my memory?
Well, the good thing about BET Uncut, and for people who weren't there, they're not really used to what they think it was. BET Uncut did actually show regular music videos as well, guys. So it's not like they only show raunchy stuff, but it would
No.
be funny
Yeah.
because they would go from like playing, 50 Cent to like DMX, to like Paul Wall. Then all of a
Oh,
sudden, I ain't got no panties on. Ain't got no panties on. I ain't got no panties. I was like, what the heck's going on now?
Mike Jones.
Mike Jones. Yes.
I used to love back then they didn't want me, now I'm hot, they all on me. That was my
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I always felt like that, but
Well, did they not want you back then?
I must have made that in my mind. That was a thing. And I mean, this was like high school. So I guess, yeah. Okay, we could get into a whole nother topic. I was not liked growing up. No one liked me. Everyone hated me. And it was because my mom was a lesbian. And so in the 90s, that was not okay. Like, people were like, no. Like, people were getting killed because they were gay in the 90s in America. So, yeah, it was like whenever I would go to different schools, I would always be super popular the first day of school. Everyone wanted to be my boyfriend, everyone wanted to be my friend. And then come the second or third day of school, no one would fucking talk to me. So I guess I kind of already felt like that mentality. Like, it's like, you know what I mean? Where it's like, y'all don't even like me, but for no reason. Like, you don't even know why you don't like me because your parents don't like me. You know what I mean? And then when I got out of high school, I was doing my thing and I was like modeling locally and I was, at parties. I wasn't even old enough to drink and I was like at parties and stuff. And now everyone wants to hang out and be my friend.
Well, then that would explain why you were. Back then, hoes didn't want me. Now I'm
Now,
hot, hoes all on me. So yeah.
back up, Brittany,
Back up, Brittany.
okay?
They're trying to be my friend now.
Yeah.
But yes, if I can think, there were a few. Like I said, "No Panties on the Dance Floor" was one of the uncut songs. There was "Lap Dance." I swear they played "Lap Dance" every night. That was from NERD, Pharrell's rock group that he was a part
Yo,
of when he was a part of the Neptunes. They used to always play that all the time. There was this song. What was it? One of the big ones that caught controversy was Nelly's Tip Drill video.
okay. I don't remember.
And that one had so many like booty shaking, hot girls all over the place. It ended up catching fire from like activist groups and stuff for saying that they were objectifying women because there's like a scene in the video where they literally take a credit card and slide it between her butt cheeks.
But the women are liking doing that, and I'm gonna be the first one to be like, you shouldn't be doing that to a woman. But if they're like want to do it, I mean, some people like that. So people have different morality. Just like some people, I've been a dancer before at strip clubs, right? Okay.
Hmm.
I loved it. It was fun as hell. Like, I loved being up there and like dancing, the music. Like, I loved that. But there are some people that were like, I could never fucking be like in that. Like, no, like that is against. I would not have fun with that. That would not feel good to me. So it's like you're yucking someone else's yum and not even understanding that you're doing it just because you think it's disrespectful. This girl's having fun and likes it. You just have to make sure that they like it first. That's all.
I mean, yeah, if reports came out from the video that the models felt like they were treated badly on set or they were
Mm,
forced to do
or
it. But
yeah,
if they went there knowing what the description they were looking for, happy to do it, probably brought their own outfits, had fun. Like if every consenting adult there is okay with what's going on, who are you to say what's happening there? Like, should you just be randomly going up to women and treating them that way? No. But
no,
if they're okay
not
with
we're not
it,
a music video.
but if, like, yeah, no, I was with Nelly and them because they was like, we're just having fun. Like, what? Why are y'all problem?
Hmm.
But yeah, that was one of the most infamous ones. And then there was like, what was another one that they used to have on there? There were other good songs on there. There was like Cutthroat. There was I already said Tip Drill. What was it? There was Ziploc Bag. There was this one that used to be so hilarious. It was the dude singing about white girls. And the entire song is just about how he's not white, but he only wants to date white girls and forget anything else. If you're not white, you're not it.
Oh my god, that's I bet people if I don't know what it happened then, but if someone made that song now, I don't think that would go along very well.
I know that thing was like a cult jam at the time. White girls
There was this one
going through
song,
my mind.
and I can never remember. I think it was by a big white man. I think, but he was talking about booties. And it's like a funny song. And it's like white booty, brown booty. I hope that one's my booty. Thin booty, short booty, tall booty.
Are you talking about Bubba Sparks?
I don't know. It's not Bubba Sparks.
Okay, because I know
It's
he had Miss New Booty. If
no,
you
not
remember
that
that
one.
song, okay.
I do remember that song, but it's not that one. It's not as well known as that. But I always
Uh,
remember that song, and I loved it, and I could never. I've never been able to find it since I was younger.
you know what? I'm gonna find it for you and I'm gonna send it to you.
Okay.
And then they had some really good like local songs on there. There was like I got that ditty gritty, and then it was like what that thing smells like. Like there was a lot of songs on there that was just girls just twerking and wearing things that you could not wear before midnight, which was the whole point of why we all stayed up. Look, the songs might have been okay, but we all know why we stayed up to watch BET Uncut.
Yeah,
We were trying to see some ladies.
that's where I got all my twerking practice. I've probably taught a handful of people how to twerk. Yep. I'm like, you just gotta practice.
Hey, well, look, everybody doesn't have the skills, the flexibility, or the booty to pull off twerking. So that
It's
definitely helps.
in the hips, because even if you don't have a booty, you can still twerk technically, but it's in the hips. I'm not
But
even the best one out there, but back then, I guess I was.
yeah, if you got good hips, that definitely works too. Because Lord knows one of my favorite music videos growing up was Shakira's "Hips Don't Lie." I used to watch.
Oh my god, Shakira, Shakira.
Shakira, Shakira. I used to watch that video on repeat. Shakira was actually one of my celebrity music crushes for the
I
longest time.
love it. Yeah, my
It,
sister growing up.
yeah, it was like her and Alicia Keys. And I loved Alicia Keys so much that there was a time where I temporarily did not like Swiss Beats because he ended up marrying her.
I feel you though, because you know why? Omarion was I didn't really have celebrity crushes because it's like generally I don't really like find attraction to people unless I know them. So even if they look good, I can just recognize that they look good, but I'm not like, ooh, I love them, you know what I mean? So Omarion was an exception. Exception. I would dream about dating him. And then I found out that he only dates brown women or black women, and it made me a little salty.
You had an ice box where your heart used to be.
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, damn, there goes my hopes and dreams.
No, I was like, obviously, when I have these celebrity crushes, I'm not hoping or thinking that one day I'm going to end up with them. It's just like, oh man, they're so beautiful, they're so talented, all that stuff, and it's just like, oh my goodness, they're amazing. And like I said, I'm a huge Swiss Beats fan, and I always have been. But when they got together, I'm like, you
Nope.
son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I'm over it now, but at the time, I was just like, I was like, and I like you too, Swizzy. Wow, Swizzy. I'm chilling in my beam. I was like, nope, nope, not for a while. But like I told some people that, and I also told you that we're gonna find out what's still in that childhood brain of yours because I want to pick that nerdy brain of yours. And you sent me a list of cartoons that you did like growing up, and I started to notice a pattern from some of those cartoons that you watched growing up. So
Really?
yes,
Okay.
there is a long going debate that we have on this podcast that we ask every guest who was a fan of cartoons growing up, regardless of what network it was on, to see if we can find out what their favorite network is. So, Spencer Nix, I want to get you on the record for favorite network, Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network.
I feel like it was Cartoon Network, right? Was it Cartoon Network?
Well,
Oh,
according to your list, like half, like 90% of your stuff were Cartoon Network shows.
okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
And you know what? Most people, first of all, Cartoon Network is sort of like running away with the score. Not that we didn't like Nickelodeon, I mean, Nickelodeon brought everybody SpongeBob SquarePants, but, and Rugrats, like they had their shows, but Cartoon Network just had too much. It
Mm-hmm.
just did.
It was like if you're like, I feel like some parents wouldn't let their kids probably watch Cartoon Network so they could watch Nickelodeon though. And those,
Even though Nickelodeon had Ren and Stimpy, and I don't know if you
oh
should be
really?
watching.
Maybe I'm wrong then.
I don't know if you should be
But Ren
watching
and
that
Stimpy
before the age of 10.
Ren and Stimpy didn't really come on during the day, did it? It come on
Yes,
more towards the night. It
no,
did.
it did. The 90s were different, Spencer. The 90s were different. Like
Okay.
cartoons that used to be considered for kids back then, they would never put on the TV for kids now.
Better turn on some Bluey.
Like back then when we had like Ren and Stimpy, which was for kids on Nickelodeon, Rocco's Modern Life, which was for kids on Nickelodeon, and that had so many not just adult jokes but sex jokes in them, and this was for kids 7 and up.
I guess always thought that they made those jokes because the kids don't understand and the adults watch it with the
Right.
kids. Yeah.
But now that we live in an era of like social media where you can look up anything and all of that stuff, I think
Mhm.
they feel like kids at younger ages now understand a lot more than kids did back in the day.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
So now, if a kid was to
Mhm.
watch a cartoon and there's this joke that slid in, they're gonna go, "I don't understand that joke. Let me Google it." Couldn't do that back then, but yes, we had the pleasure of watching cartoons as a kid, and then going back and watching them as an adult. It was like I did not catch that.
Yep.
I did not,
I
especially
did.
like
I watched all those that you mentioned though, but the ones that I mentioned just were my favorites where I would just watch as long, like however long they were going to be on, I would just watch it, and hoping it would be on.
I still don't understand how Animaniacs got away with half of their jokes now that I've gone back and watched it. Like
I
just
never watched that one.
really.
I never watched that one. No. Not that I remember. No.
I would say this, it's probably even though it was a kids cartoon, it's probably more enjoyable for adults
Mm,
because they had so much adult humor in it and they also had so much meta humor in it and so much topical humor. I mean, it had a lot of slapstick so kids could enjoy it, but
yeah.
that cartoon was really more for adults regardless of who they said their target audience was.
Mm,
You know, that's why when they rebooted it a few years back on Hulu, they pretty much said, "Oh yeah, this is more for older audiences," and it
mm.
probably always has been. But this is where we are now. But like you said, you had some that really stuck out, and one that you said was your favorite was Courage the Cowardly Dog.
That was definitely one of my top favorites. I loved Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Did you find it funny or did you find it scary? Were you spooked out by
Very-
Courage?
I was, yes. I would have to watch something else afterwards before I went to sleep.
So
Yeah.
you were scared of it, but you still kept coming back for more.
I loved scary stuff whenever I was a kid. I don't now, like I can't watch it now, but I loved scary stuff. I convinced my dad to let me watch Child's Play whenever I was little.
Hmm.
And he said he will always regret that because I slept on his floor in his room for months, like years really, after he let me watch that. I would always go in there and be like, I'm scared because he worked second shift,
Hmm.
but he ended up retiring because of arthritis. And so at some point he stopped working, but he still stayed up until like 2, 3 in the morning. So I would be asleep and have the door cracked so I could see the light on where he's up, but it would wake me up when he would turn the light off, and that's when I would wake up and go in his room and sleep on the bed on the floor.
See, I didn't get scared easily. Like I could watch the Child's Play movies and be fine. I could watch the Friday the 13th movies and be fine.
When you were a kid,
Yes, I could watch the Nightmare on Elm Street movies eventually. For
those
some
are
reason,
my favorite.
the first Nightmare on Elm Street terrified me.
Those were my favorite. I was still okay with those, but those were my favorite. I would rent those every time I went to Blockbuster. It's Freddy Krueger. Loved, loved, loved Freddy Krueger. Fuck Jason. I didn't watch that shit. Freddy Krueger and Jeepers Creepers. Faves.
Jeepers
And then It.
Creepers.
Jeepers Creepers was my shit. And so was Freddy. I loved all that so much.
See, the only three things that I have recollection of actually scaring me as a kid was the first Nightmare on Elm Street movie, the Michael Jackson Thriller video, the werewolf scene at the beginning. I used to jump behind the couch.
Oh my god.
And which is crazy because everybody knows Michael Jackson is my favorite entertainer, point blank, period, all time.
So
But
you're scared of vegetables and Michael Jackson Thriller.
I'm not scared of it anymore, obviously. But when I was a kid, I used to jump during the werewolf scene at the beginning when they're watching the movie and he turned into the werewolf. I was terrified when I was a kid. So
I
it was
didn't see.
that, the first Nightmare on Elm Street, and then a music video for a song, Sledgehammer. I was afraid of there's a point in the video where he turns into a fruit face. And I thought it was so creepy when I was a kid. It was just a music video.
Yeah, but when you're a kid, you look at things so differently. Just like when you go back and watch the cartoons, like I not too long ago, I watched Courage the Cowardly Dog for the first time since I was a kid, and I was like, "This is fucking weird." Like it doesn't. It's so weird, and but I would be, scared of it as a kid, and just be like, "Oh my god!" Like I hope he doesn't get hurt. Like.
Return to slab.
Yeah, so I would watch SpongeBob or something after that so I could go to sleep.
You said you watched it not too long ago. Do you remember what happened?
Which one did I watch? I don't remember. I think when they were like when like aliens or the government or something was making Miriam into someone she wasn't, and she was acting real different, and so there was no one there to really like protect Courage, something like that.
Okay, I was about to say that's the plot. That's the plot for like half the episodes, especially if like Katz was in the episode, one of his most arch nemesis, or LeQuack would just always try to get them to like commit crimes and stuff.
Yeah.
And and then every once in a while, Eustace would step up, but not really. He every time Katz would come around and do a scheme on him, he would always have something on the door that says "No dogs allowed," and Eustace is like, "That works for me. Get the hell out."
Yeah.
He never liked him anyway. So I always enjoyed whenever Eustace got his in the end, and I was just like, why can't
Mhm.
this just end with him dying?
I know. Yeah. I wonder what the last episode they made is. I'm gonna have to watch that. I'm
Funny
curious.
enough, in 2021, they released a Courage the Cowardly Dog Scooby Doo crossover movie.
I wonder how that worked. Did you see it?
I haven't seen it, and I knew it existed, but I haven't taken the time to try to look at it yet. But considering they both were in that spooky world, I was like, okay, I can see why they did this.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe.
I'm gonna have to try to check it out sometime because Scooby Doo was also on your list, and Scooby Doo is. There was a time in my life when Scooby Doo was my favorite thing I liked watching on TV.
Me too. I'm sure there was one time. Yep. I loved Scooby Doo.
Because again, like I told you, I was big into mysteries and all of that stuff. So I watched Scooby Doo because number one, Scooby Doo cracked me up, but two, it was like there was times where I could just glance at an episode and I knew exactly what episode it was. Right?
Yeah.
I knew all the monsters. I knew who was behind all the masks.
But we still watch it. It's kind of like how I binge watch Law and Order now. It's like the same thing, just as a kid.
Because it's entertaining. Look, it's still freaking Scooby Doo. And I always say, when you think about it, like these kids are just going around town, teenagers are going around town solving mysteries. They don't have a permit to do that. They just do it on their own in their van, going to people's houses, their haunted houses, sticking their nose in other people's business that doesn't belong to them. They're trespassing half the time.
They really are trespassing.
And they're getting involved with stuff that has nothing to do with them, which a lot of times was usually over a property dispute where somebody wants somebody's property, so they dress up as a ghost to try to scare them off of it so they can take over the land.
Yeah.
And here y'all little badasses come through showing up and just ruining everything.
My favorite parts, and you won't be surprised, are when Shaggy and Scooby would eat all their food. I'm like, man, I want some of that. Their sandwiches looked so good.
They
Oh my,
would do sandwiches that would be like this tall,
yeah.
and they'll eat all of it, and then he'll just go, like, that was a good snack, Scoob. Can't wait for dinner. I was like, a snack?
Scooby snacks. freaking came out as graham crackers. Definitely one of those.
Have you ever had them?
Hmm. Yeah,
I've never had them.
I like graham crackers.
I'm sure they are, but just the fact that I've never taken the time to be like, you know what? And I don't know if it's just because I don't want the satisfaction of telling myself that I ate Scooby snacks, but I've always looked at them and I'm like, I want to be able to say I had Scooby snacks at least once in my life
Yeah,
because while Scooby Doo, because I was a big fan of Scooby Doo, and it's like, well, they like them. Shaggy apparently likes them, but then again, I can't take Shaggy's word for it.
I'm
He'll
about
eat
to say
anything.
Jackie likes anything.
But did you ever see a pup named Scooby Doo?
No, see, I wasn't. I'm a like when it comes to like shows they make after the original. Most of the time, I'm not going to entertain it because I'm like, mm-mm.
You know what? I'm gonna have to sadly say you missed out though, because a pup named Scooby Doo is probably my favorite version of Scooby Doo,
Mm,
and
really.
that cartoon made Scooby snacks look delicious.
Oh my god. So is it about him, about
It's
Scooby Doo, but when he was a puppy?
it's the same plot as Scooby Doo, but they're kids. They're all like little kids. Like instead
Oh,
of being teenagers, they're probably like, I don't know, like 10.
gotcha. Okay.
And he's a puppy instead of obviously a big dog. And it came out in the 90s, so it was also more modern, updated. It had a lot of running themes. They gave the characters more personality. Like they really put more emphasis on Daphne being the spoiled rich kid. Fred was kind of dumb in it, and he was actually hilarious because every time in every episode, he always thought the monster was the same person every week. This kid named Red Herring. Yes, they did a play on the name Red Herring in it,
Oh my.
and every week he's like, the monster's got to be none other than Red Herring. It's like, no, no, Fred, no, it's not. And they really put a lot more emphasis on Velma. She had her computers and she was super smart. Scooby and Shaggy were basically the same.
Mm.
And because they were kids, then people didn't have to put up with Scrappy Doo being in it. Because a lot of people have their strong feelings about when Scrappy Doo got added with his puppy power and all of that stuff. But
I was never a Scrappy fan. Like I would watch it if it was on, but if it was like the episodes where it's like Scrappy Doo is in it, I would be like, I don't like those as much. I don't know why.
is it because
I
you thought he was annoying?
well, I don't do well with change.
You don't do well with change. Well, how do you handle these long running TV shows? Because a lot of times when they're on for so long or the ratings start to dip, they add new characters.
Law and Order has had at least Olivia Benson. Whenever they lose Olivia Benson, I'm going to be devastated. Or when they stop making them, devastated.
Well, when they lose her, they might just end it all. Well, they're not going to end it. I'm taking that back. They got so many different versions of Law and Order. In our family, the favorite version is SVU. Like we're SVU
Yeah, well, that's
family.
what I'm talking about. I
Yeah,
just say Law and Order, it's automatically SVU. But I do watch the other ones. I just watch SVU first.
the long running show with Ice T that plays a cop who used to have a rap career where he said "screw the cops," but that was always the irony there.
Right. He's really not that great of an actor, but I love him.
But you know what? It's fine.
Yeah.
He's been
It's
in the
really,
role all this time.
yep, keep going. Do you, boo?
But like I said, but that's why I said that I know that Cartoon Network was like your favorite network because you talked about Scooby Doo and we talked about Courage the Cowardly Dog. You also had Dexter's Laboratory on there,
Yeah. Powerpuff
and
Girls, too.
you didn't mention that, but I figured if you like Dexter's Laboratory and Ed, Ed, and Eddie, you had to have watched the Powerpuff Girls.
I liked Ed, Ed, and Eddie more than Powerpuff Girls. Powerpuff Girls were like okay, like I don't know, it was like last on the list, but I did watch them. Dexter's Laboratory was still kind of like sometimes it would be boring to me.
Really?
Yeah, sometimes I would get bored and it would be annoy the fuck out of me that you can't see the lady's head. I would be like, bro, like why would you do that? That doesn't make any sense. You just see her body.
Wait a minute. Whose head?
On Dexter's Laboratory.
You can see everybody on Dexter's Laboratory. Are you talking about like the show where the parents, you don't see the top half of the parents?
I thought there was a lady in Dexter's Laboratory that doesn't show her head.
Uh, you might be talking about Miss Bellum and the Powerpuff Girls. The mayor's assistant, Miss Bellum, in the Powerpuff Girls, you never saw her face.
She wears like a red tight dress.
Yes.
That's the Powerpuff Girls?
Yes.
Okay, that would piss me off.
That did. You'll be surprised, and this just goes to show you how they draw cartoons. So many people like had crushes on Miss Bellum, even though you never saw her face.
I know. Because she has a tight red dress on and boobs and hips.
Oh yeah, they made sure that they completely did that on a
She ain't
kids show,
got
on
no
a kids
head.
cartoon,
Body.
and there were a lot of adult undertones in the Powerpuff Girls as well, to the
Mm-hmm.
point where when they rebooted the Powerpuff Girls, because they reboot everything now.
Yeah.
When they rebooted the Powerpuff Girls, I think in like 2016 or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't even put Miss Bellum in the reboot. I think she had a cameo appearance in like one episode, and the reason they did that was because they felt like she was too curvy for modern kids.
I bet people were so upset.
They felt she was too curvy for modern kids.
And how there's so many curvy women out there now, especially with like BBLs and stuff being popular. That doesn't even make sense. Because our teachers look like that.
It's
Okay?
a kid show because speaking of teachers, even the teacher, their teacher, she was you did a thumbs up and that popped up.
Mhm.
Even their teacher, who she didn't have big boobs, they were like really small, but in the reboot, they just got rid of them.
So no female body parts in this reboot. No one has tits and ass. No one has any of that.
Well, and one of the ironic thing about that is because I think they were trying to make, because again, the old Powerpuff Girls probably skewed joke wise more toward an adult audience, even though it was for kids. And the new one, I think they wanted to say this is for kids. So they did all of that. Yet there are episodes where the Powerpuff Girls are actually twerking.
Shut your mouth. What? I
And I
mean,
think it was at that moment when I said, "Yeah, I can't rock with this new show."
yeah.
I'm like, I can't do it. First of all, I'm like you, like not that if something's new, I don't want to give it a chance, because just because something's not the old one, the new one is not going to replace the old one. Even if you don't like the new one,
Mhm.
the old one's still going to be there. And if you
Right.
want to go back and watch it, you can go back and watch it.
Right.
But I watched the new one, I gave it a chance, and I just didn't like it. But
Mm-hmm.
that's not always the case, because I'm a Disney fan and I'm a big Disney nut. And one of my favorite cartoons growing up as a kid was DuckTales.
Mm.
And they did a reboot a few years back on the Disney Channel. And I honestly think the newer version of DuckTales is even better than the one I grew up with.
Really?
Yes. And I tell people, if you were a fan of DuckTales as a kid, go watch the reboot. It's freaking amazing. It's one of my favorite new cartoons to come out probably over the past 10 years.
Mm.
Is there was one that you talked to me about that was not actually a Cartoon Network show, and that was the Magic School Bus.
I love
And
that. That's where my love of health came from. Right there.
your love of health came from Miss Frizzle.
No, but I mean, I think me being so obsessed with the Magic School Bus, maybe that was like an inclining of me gonna go in that direction when I got older.
No, don't get me wrong. I absolutely loved the Magic School Bus. In fact, we watched it in school. Like during our free time, that's what the teachers would put on. Like, hey, y'all are gonna watch the Magic School Bus.
Magic School Bus was so cool.
And it was so educational. It did teach us a lot. But at the same time, would you let your kids go on a field trip with Miss Frizzle?
Really? To inside people's bodies? No.
What
No.
kind of permission forms do you have to sign to say I'm going to shrink down my kids and go inside a sick kid's body?
No. That's weird.
Well, I don't think anybody would sign a permission slip. Miss Frizzle was just doing this stuff on her own, and the reason she even still has a job is because nobody's ratted her out yet. Because they're probably afraid of her. Because if she's got a freaking Magic School Bus, there's no telling what else she can do.
You're right about that. I never thought about that. You're right.
Look, one of the things I always enjoyed about the Magic School Bus, even as a kid, was I always liked the fact that the kids were so diverse. Like,
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
almost every kid was like a different race.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Love
And
that.
you didn't see that a lot in shows back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the only other place you really had to see that was like freaking Captain Planet or something,
Ses- Sesame Street.
and Sesame Street,
Yeah.
which was. I'm sorry, I get that people have like their blueies and all of that stuff. I'm always still going to be a Sesame Street guy, right? Technically, Sesame Street's still going, and I don't.
Right, Mr. Rogers too. Don't forget about him. But yeah, Sesame Street was I would watch it. But
No, I mean, Mr. Rogers went for a long time. Obviously, Mr. Rogers is no longer with us. It's easier to keep Sesame Street going because they're puppets. Oh,
right, right.
and they have in the past, because obviously Jim Henson himself used to actually voice a lot of the puppets, and he's no longer with us. But other people can just step in and fill those roles. But even with that being said, a lot of the adults are even still on Sesame Street after all these decades. They were young adults, obviously back then. They're old adults now.
Because it's a great message.
It
They
is.
great messages.
And they tackled so many things. Like I think Sesame Street was one of like the first kid shows that tackled death.
Really.
Yeah, because one of the core members on Sesame Street back in like the 70s and 80s, he died. And I guess they figured instead of just going forward without him and just hoping the kids just don't notice, why don't we
Yeah.
just make an episode about it where, Big Bird is having a hard time grasping why he's not around anymore.
Oh yeah. See, that's so great. Like that's just Sesame Street's the best.
Yeah, and then they tried to get rid of Cookie Monster once upon a time because he was a bad influence on the kids.
Because of the cookies, man. Your parents buy the cookies, okay? Your parents buy the cookies and let you eat them all day. That's what the problem is. Just like freaking anything else you can see on TV, it's ultimately your decision. But you know,
It is ultimately your decision, and it didn't last very long because Cookie Monster is still around. But for the longest time, they wanted to turn him into like the healthy monster or whatever the hell.
that ain't gonna
And
work. Now they have Cookie Monster ice cream. I don't really like the ice cream, but I love the way it looks.
C is for cookie that's good enough to eat. You're not getting rid of Cookie Monster. Sorry. I'm about to say, look, don't start twerking the Sesame Street songs, okay?
Because I'd be the one to do it. I'd twerk to anything. Oh, there it goes again.
I know you will. See, they're giving you the thumbs up. See, you're so finna send me something twerking to a Sesame Street song now. I see it.
Custom alert.
But I am gonna say, because I know you've had such a long day, but you say got yourself a nap in. So how are you feeling today, right now?
I'm feeling good lately. I've actually been feeling really good. I've been weight training again. I had taken some time off from that because I was having so much anxiety. I wasn't able to sleep, and when you can't sleep, you don't have energy. Blah blah blah. But I got on a lot of supplements, and it's been helping. And so now I'm weight training again, and I'm taking walks outside. Now the weather is starting to
Yes, that part. I can start jump roping again because I took up jump roping right before the winter time. I bought a jump rope,
great.
and then it got too cold for me to be doing that every day.
Jump roping is great for you. Walking, jump roping, like um, just like repetitive motion like that is really great for anxiety and your nervous system and things like that. It's really
Well, I
great.
actually used to be on the jump rope team. I was on the jump rope team from like kindergarten to fourth to sixth grade. Kindergarten to sixth grade.
I've
I was on the
never.
jump rope team.
That's crazy. I'm not a great jump roper, so
The only reason it stopped there was because our middle school, when we went to seventh grade, they stopped doing jump rope teams. They didn't have a jump rope team at our middle school and
lame.
or high school. So I did it as long as the schools had a team for it. And I always made the team because I was freaking fantastic at jump roping.
Should be
Because
in the Olympics. Honestly,
breakdancing's in the Olympics now. So
I really kind of hope they don't bring that back.
actually, I think they said that's the one and only time breakdancing is going to be in the Olympics
Why would
because
that happen? That was the weirdest thing. Like we watched it, but it was like just it didn't fit in. It felt like it was getting messy. Like why are we bringing that?
I don't know. I mean, because breakdancing is a sport, like it's a competition. You got to be good at it. So I didn't have a problem with it being at the Olympics, but they handled it so poorly, and the way it went, they were just like, we're just pulling
Maybe
it.
maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's what it was. Just how they handled it.
Yeah, and then obviously the infamous one girl who had no business being out there.
Don't do that to her. She is living her best life.
And she can live her best life, but on that night, she was living her best life in front of in front of the entire globe.
Oh,
And then they had to do research into her to try to find out how she ever ended up on this Olympic team in the first place. And when they went through that stuff, it realized, yeah, she probably should not have been on this Olympic team in the first place. Certain
oops.
countries got to put out what they put out, though. That just meant she was one of the best of her bunch, which, says a lot about her bunch.
Yeah, she did her best.
But no, but I was on the jump rope team, so I did find this out, obviously, because I'm a lot older. When I bought my jump rope, I went out there and tried to relive the glory days, and my body said, "What do you think you're doing?"
You have to warm up first.
I know, but even I was just like, I just want to see if I can do this trick still, and I want to see if I can do this trick
Um,
because I used to know how to do all the tricks.
and what happens?
I was able to pull off one of the hardest tricks that not only I did as a kid, but it was one of the reasons I kept making the team because there was this one jump rope move that nobody else on my team could do but me. And it was like that for years.
What was it?
It's a move, I think they call it the TS. It's a move where you don't just do the crisscross, but you jump and you do the crisscross front and then you do the crisscross backwards in
Oh,
succession.
oh, sheesh.
And nobody else on my team could do it for years. No, I take it back. My brother could also do it. He was on the jump rope team with me.
That's cool.
And I went out there. Since that's not an endurance move, I was like, let me just see if I can still do it. I messed it up a few times, but then I finally pulled one off. So I was like,
Nice.
oh,
You should have recorded it.
I can still record it. Like because now that I'm gonna start getting back into it, now that the weather is getting good again, I plan on recording my jump rope journey because I want to see if maybe I can get back to my glory days one day. Just for me, not because I want to join anything, but if I can get back to the shape I was in when I was jump roping, I'm pretty sure my body will also be in pretty good shape as a result.
Yeah, jump roping is great cardio for your heart. Really good.
And with my heart situation, I could definitely use that right now. Doctor said so. So that is what I'm going to get to. So, Spencer, I do want to say, I want to thank you so much. It took a while. Lord knows I originally asked you to join me 2 years ago.
Really?
Yes. The first time I asked you to join me on the podcast was 2 years ago. I said, when are you going to come on? You're like, I don't know. And I guess I was like, you know what? That's my fault. Because maybe I should have just straight up said, come on the podcast, please. And
Yeah.
I didn't do that until 2 years later. But especially when it comes to you, and not just you, I have a couple of other friends like this. And I know I said earlier, so I don't want to contradict myself a little bit when I say just pick up and do it, just even though you don't have all the best stuff. With you, especially with the status that you had as a model and you were in your world and everything, I know we were friends and everything, but I always had this thing about myself where I wanted to feel like I was putting something out there that I felt was good enough to want to bring you onto.
I can understand that. I appreciate that. I can understand that for sure. There's a time and place for things, and when it lines up, it lines up.
Because there will be those people that even though you within yourself can just start off, there will be those people that's like, really, you want me to come on that low budget thing? And it's like, yeah, I get it. It can be cruel when it's your friends sometimes, but I get it. So with some people, it's like, let me build this. Let me show you why it would be worth your time to come on here with some of my friends. And it's like, and then I will ask you to come on. Like I
Yeah.
have a couple of friends I still haven't asked to come on yet. And I've been doing this. This is our third year doing it.
Yeah. It takes time to build it up, and it builds up your confidence too as you build it up, so that helps.
That as well. But like I said, I definitely want to thank you so much. I'm sure a lot of people that watch this are going to get to know you a lot more. Like I said, especially my audience. Some of them already follow you. They're definitely going to follow you so much because you're
Oh,
amazing and they need to be following you anyway. And I hope you had fun.
yeah, I did. It's just like talking any other day to you, really. It's totally fine.
And that's exactly what I was going for. So before we go out, let everybody know where they can find you.
Yes. So my Instagram is Spencer Nix Fits. My TikTok is the Spencer Nix. I also have another one connected to that called Charcuterie Board. We won't get into that. My Twitter is Spencer Nix, and yeah, YouTube Spencer Nix, all of it. Just type in Spencer Nix.
You got to get your YouTube up and going again.
I posted one video last week. It's just the editing. It's like I need someone to help me with editing.
You
And
haven't asked me to help you edit?
one,
You know what? We'll talk about that off camera because we got the podcast going. And guys, one more time, I know we didn't dive too deep in it because at this point, I think it's a given if you're a fan of hers coming on. She's also Spencer Nix on that website. So, if you're interested, you can go follow her there. At the end of the day, we're all trying to make money out here. So, yeah.
that is my job. That's my job.
As she
That's
sends
really my
out the heart. So yes, make sure you go to the OF as well if you're into that stuff and go follow her there as well. But again, for the lovely Spencer Nix, I am King Drell. This is the podcast is real, and we will see you guys next time. Salute. Bye.